Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. Training camps around the NBA are off and running. We've got a lot of news to talk about. Jonathan Kuminga finally makes up his mind as we're recording. We're still waiting on Quentin to see what happens there. The Warriors are filling out their roster. We've got news out of Lakers training camp, Sixers training camp, a lot of different things to bounce around on today's show. All of that to say, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. You want to stay in the know on the new NBA season. Subscribe right here to the Front Office Show on YouTube, as well as over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Trevor Lane, joined as always by Keith Smith. Keith, it's here. The calendar has flipped. It's October. There is just this, I don't know, that anticipation. It's been building and building and building, and now it feels like it's finally here, the NBA season. We're ready for it. Preseason basketball is upon us. Let's go, my friend.
Yeah, I don't have to toggle months to see games pop up on my calendar anymore. That's there by this. We're recording just for posterity's sake, 1:00 in the afternoon. By this time tomorrow, we'll be in the middle of a preseason game because that'll be going on. So I'm pretty. Hey, it's so funny. I did radio this morning, and he goes, "How excited are you for the preseason game tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh, beyond fired up." And he goes, "But what if Phillies guys don't play?" I'm like, "I don't care, do not care at all. Can't wait." So we got, what is it, Sixers Knicks,
and that's at what, noon Eastern time, I believe?
Noon Eastern, yep. And then Friday, 5:30 in the morning Eastern, the Pelicans are playing Melbourne United in Australia, and I'll be ready to go for that too.
Are you going to be up for that?
Oh yeah,
that's at 5:30 a.m.
That's not much
Eastern
more
time.
Before I get up anyway, so I'll be up
the other day. My wife is out of town for the last 2 days, and she's back today, this afternoon on a work trip, and so that meant I had to get up early with my daughter and get her off to school. Normally, because I work so late in the nights, my wife gets up in the morning with her. Bless her for doing that. But so I got up and I checked my phone, and there's a tweet from you. I'm like, what the hell, man? It is way too early. It was like 6:30 in the morning Eastern time or something. And
I didn't think I tweeted that early today. Did I? It was like
no, it wasn't today. I believe it was yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was up early yesterday. So
it was yesterday.
Usual. But it's so funny because it used to be our buddy Mort Jensen, who's in Denmark and covers the NBA from Denmark. It used to be in the mornings when I was doing, I would tweet about games that I was watching while I was watching them. It'd be like me and him having this solo conversation at 7:30 in the morning because no one else was interacting on Twitter yet.
Well, a couple of times when I was on vacation a few weeks ago, I was the exact opposite of Pacific time, which is most of my audience.
Yeah.
And so it was, 6 p.m. my time where I was in Maldives. And it was 6 a.m. Pacific time. A few times I forgot, and I'd send out a tweet at 3 in the afternoon or whatever there, and it's 3 a.m. The people are messaging me like, "What are you doing? Why are you awake?
Why are you?
Go to bed." Anyway, we should probably get into the news here.
Yeah, we should probably do. Some stuff actually happened.
Some stuff happened. We can always do scheduled nonsense at a later time. But Jonathan Kuminga officially signs his deal with the Golden State Warriors. Keith, when you look at this, it's a 2-year deal. The team option reported as $48.5 million. I know there's a little quibble over that from Shams Charania. But when we look at this deal, who, if anyone, caved in this situation?
Probably Kuminga.
Team option.
So let's get into it. It's a 2-year deal with the team option. It actually starts at $22.5 million. Then standard 8% raise goes up to 24.3 on that team option year. He did waive the no trade clause in there. So that's gone, as well as he also got a 15% trade bonus. It was actually noted and I missed it at first in a later tweet. There it is from Shams. It's actually one other one where he does one more quote tweet. But it's noted in there, there it is right there. Now, both sides understand likelihood of exploring trades when Kuminga is eligible in January. So he gave up the no trade clause, which gives the Warriors some power. but he got a 15% trade bonus, which the Warriors actually pay. It will hit the books of the other side. So he gets a little bit of an extra bump. That's how you get up to that 48.5 number if he gets the trade bonus. So that's where we're at. But with Kuminga, I think highly, highly likely he is not a Golden State Warrior after the trade deadline.
Right.
I think there's a good chance he is traded and moved on, and that's how they go. A couple people asked, hey, isn't it a 3-month trade restriction? Yes, but in this case, because he got more than a 20% raise using bird rights, he gets January 15 trade restriction. So that's kind of the idea of like, hey, let's not sign guys specifically to a big number to then turn around and trade them as soon as they're eligible. So, but in general, we are now into the 3-month trade window. Anybody who signs now, it's 3 months.
So effectively, the Warriors will have a window of January 15th to February 5th to trade Jonathan Kuminga. They'll have 3 weeks there to trade Jonathan Kuminga and find a new home for him. Now, obviously, they can have those conversations well ahead of time. They can have those conversations in December. Hey, when he becomes trade eligible, would you be interested in him here? But that's what this was.
Sorry, my wife got up to walk away. I think we share a home office.
Yeah.
And she was eating her lunch at her desk, and she had a bowl full of rice. She got up to walk away, and the dog immediately got up, was like, that rice is gonna be mine. And she stopped, and she's like telling the dog, like, come on, come with me. And the dog's like, are you kidding? Like, you left food on the desk. Like,
no, I'm not going anywhere. Of course not.
So I mean, so back to your original question, I think Kuminga probably gave more here than the Warriors did. The Warriors ultimately got more control over the tradable number. He came in at a slightly lower number than what was talked about. I do think for Kuminga, it's good. It's a shorter contract, so he does get the free agency. Clearly, this is, I think, better than the qualifying offer for him, because he gets significantly more money this year, and it's not like he has absolutely no control, but like wherever he goes, if he gets traded, it's going to be because the team wants him. He's not just going to be a throw-in in a deal, and they're not just going to up and send him to like Washington, who's rebuilding, or something like that, unless it's like, yeah, I'm cool with going there and they really want me to be a centerpiece going forward. Kind of weird. Like, I kind of like that fit, actually, as I just say that, because they don't really have a 4 on that roster outside of Cam Whitmore.
I was going to say Cam Whitmore may not like that.
So yeah, he probably would not, but so that's where it's at.
Okay. So I want to touch upon the language in here that Shams, in the initial tweet, right, which Shams gets a lot of his information from agents and things like that. The line in there, the deal has a team option designed for the contract to be ripped up and renegotiated next summer. I think, personally, this is me reading between the lines, and you can tell me what you think here, but this is putting it out there immediately. Hey, if you're going to trade for Jonathan Kuminga, it is not to just let him play out the team option next year. It is with the understanding that we want to get a new deal done next summer.
100%. Yeah, this is we want to do something longer term wherever he lands. The idea would be wherever he goes next, and we're obviously assuming that's going to be how this plays out.
Yes.
But wherever he ends up after the Warriors, the idea would be that team wants him for years to come, would decline the team option, and then they would have full bird rights on him. And then they actually,
I was going to say, because wouldn't it be a 1-year deal then? And then he would lose rights?
But at $22.5 million, it's probably a high enough number that non-bird probably works for him. Anyway,
what would non-bird be? Is that 120%?
Yeah, 120%. So that's
120% bump.
Yeah, that's like a $4 $5 million bump off that. So that's probably close enough.
Yeah,
$4.5 million, that gets them up to $26 million. That's probably in range. And if it's a cap space team, they could go that direction. But whatever. That to me is what this says, is like, hey, the idea is we're doing this as a functional 1-year contract, but it's not. And then the Warriors are protected a little here. If, let's say, Jonathan Kuminga breaks out and he's incredible, then the Warriors can either rip this up and sign him, or the Warriors can, let him go at that point. if it really goes sideways. So they're a little bit more protected. But this feels like a good common ground, like find common ground and get this done. Where preseason game, I mean, I think that's who the Lakers play right on Friday night. So yeah, isn't it? That's
Friday they play the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, that's Sun. No, it can't be the Suns.
Yeah,
is it? No, I'm sorry. The Pelicans are the ones that are in Australia. Never mind.
Yes, yeah. The Pelicans are in Australia. The Suns are playing the Lakers.
Okay. So, but anyway, the Warriors are playing soon-ish. You just don't want this stuff hanging over you as camp's going. And then if you want to go to the next
5-on-5 now, Keith.
Yeah, let's go there and go to we talked about it a little bit the other day over the weekend, right? They got their commitments from Horford and Melton and Payton. Mm-hmm. Those deals are all done as well now. Al Horford got a 2-year deal for the taxpayer MLE, second-year player option for Horford. So pretty much what we expected it to be. Warriors, by virtue of using the taxpayer MLE, are hard capped at the second apron. Keep that in mind because we're going to come back to that in a minute. Melton signed a 2-year veteran minimum deal. That's what he'll get on the books at. Mm-hmm. Then Payton signed a 1-year vet minimum deal. Payton did not waive his no trade clause, so he does have the 1-year no trade clause. Probably not going to come into play, but just in case it does. We had talked about Will Richard previously signing and why that was important as a draft pick. So the Warriors have one open roster spot on their regular season roster. And that roster spot is presumably going to Seth Curry, but not yet.
He's on an Exhibit 9 now.
Exhibit 9, which is a fully non-guaranteed training camp contract. Doesn't count towards the tax, the aprons, or the cap. So what happens is he's going to come in. He's going to go to camp with the Warriors. He's going to do all the stuff. He's going to get waived at the end of camp. And then it should be about a week-ish into the season, the Warriors will be able to sign him because then they'll have enough room for a prorated veteran minimum deal. Those are worth, for a player of Curry's experience, it's about $13,000 a day. So they need to get about $200K knocked off before they can re-sign Seth Curry, and that's how that'll go down. Then he'll be in there, and they'll move forward, and that's how the roster will go going forward. So it'll be without Seth Curry for the first, I don't know how many games they even play in the first week to 10 days of the season, but it'll be a handful of games.
And there you go. Now the Warriors are complete for the time being, and then we all wait to see who they ultimately turn Jonathan Kuminga into at the trade deadline. So we'll keep obviously a close eye on that. Just to tie a bow on the Kuminga thing, because this is not a sign and trade anymore. No worries about the base year compensation problem that they were dealing with. The Warriors would have been dealing with had they signed and traded him to. I know we talked about the Phoenix Suns. We talked about the Kings being potential landing spots. So the Warriors roster, they can finally play 5-on-5. My guy Sam Esfandiari of the Light Years Pod can finally stop his Kuminga watch, and they can move forward here with this roster and see what's what with this Warriors team. This is, an older team as we've talked about, but a lot of talent on this team as well. So I'm excited to see what they look like out there on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, you have the roster up there. If you just kind of look at it, pretty solid group. I mean, they've already more or less said without guaranteeing it, Al Horford's going to start. So I think that means Horford, Green, Butler, Podziemski, and Curry are likely the starters. Maybe Melton starts, but I think they really like Podziemski there, and that gives them at least one younger guy in that group. But then you have Melton and Hield and Moody. Obviously now Kuminga. I still like Trace Jackson Davis and Quentin Post. Quentin Post, BC guy. So, of course, I'm a fan. Gary Payton II. Guy Santos had actually played pretty well at times for them last year when he got minutes. And so there's some depth on this team. I'm not going to put them in Thunder Nuggets territory now, but near, in that group of 4 or 5 teams right behind Denver and OKC. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, they definitely could be in there. The West, it is going to be a battle this year. It's going to be, has been the last few years, but it is going to be an absolute battle in the Western Conference. All right, let's just jump here because we were on We were on Jonathan Kuminga. Quentin Grimes, we've been following that. It was Grimes, it was Cam Thomas, it was Kuminga, it was Josh Giddey all summer. The big four stuck in restricted free agency. Now the last man standing is Quentin Grimes. Has until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight to ultimately either pick up the qualifying offer. It really has sounded like he's either going to pick up the qualifying offer or effectively the Sixers are going to buy him out of the no trade that would come with the qualifying offer by giving him a bigger 1-year deal, whether that's, he gets roughly $8 million, as I recall off the top of my head, on the qualifying offer, or they could give him 12, 13, maybe something like that. Maybe 14
I think they were
million.
saying 14 was
14, right? And then he would waive the inherent no trade clause that would come with that 1-year deal. So will be interesting to see how that plays out. But it seems like one of those two options is where this is going to land sometime before that deadline tonight.
Yeah, and they have been hyping VJ Edgecombe because remember Philly got the early jump, like with the other teams that are going overseas. They've already been doing training camp for a week now. So there's been a lot of stuff coming out about VJ Edgecombe. Looks really good. They're really excited with him. There's obviously a lot of buzz around Tyrese Maxey is back and fully healthy. And I think we both believe Maxey would have played last year if the team had anything to play for, but they weren't. Let's just say they were very much trying not to win games at the end of last year because they wanted to be in position.
Top 6 protected, as I recall.
Yeah. Philadelphia top Sixers, right? So they were in a position where they're now fired up for those guys. So there was some at least initial thought of, man, Quentin Grimes, like we don't know if we need you that much. We got Edgecombe, Maxey's back, we got Jared McCain. I don't know if you want to jump there just to close out the Sixers topics. Then Jared McCain came down with a torn ligament in his thumb. He has now had surgery. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Trevor, what does reevaluated mean?
It does not mean return. God, we should put that on a t-shirt.
I know, right?
Reevaluate does not mean return. It just means the doctors are going to go check up on where he's at. And a lot of times reevaluate really doesn't mean return, because even if you get the green light at that point, guys have to go through the return to play process and ramp up and all of that. So in other words, 76ers fans do not expect Jared McCain to be back on the court in 4 weeks. You're just hoping for good news in 4 weeks.
Yeah. In 4 weeks, puts them a weekish into the season. If it's the good news is, because this is a hand related thing with his thumb, hopefully he's able to keep his conditioning up and all that. Cause that's often what takes the week or two of ramp up is you have to get your conditioning back for players. So hopefully he can still run and still do all that stuff. But to me, that's a second major injury for Quentin Grimes, or excuse me, for Jared McCain. After the torn meniscus cost him the final 2/3 of his rookie season. So to me, this is, if I'm Quentin Grimes, I'm a little more like, you kind of do need me. If you're trying to be good, you need a little bit more backcourt depth.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And so maybe that gives Quentin Grimes a little bit more bargaining power here in this situation.
Yeah.
The reports being that the Sixers, they offered $39 million, essentially the qualifying offer
over 4 years,
and he was looking for more like $25 million. I mean, it's so far apart. They're not going to bridge that gap. So we probably do wind up with a 1-year deal here. But the Sixers, they need to get this done. And I think they will. Everything sounds like they're going to. Daryl Morey, all of his comments sound like they're excited to bring Quentin Grimes back in, but they just don't want to commit long term when they've got VJ Edgecombe in to take over that role. Yeah. So we're probably going to see a 1-year deal here.
Yeah, because I think they're looking at it as our long-term backcourt is Maxey, McCain, Edgecombe in a 3-guard rotation.
Yeah.
We love Quentin Grimes and make it a 4-guard rotation, but not at $20+ million a year. If it was at 10 or 12, sure. Like then that's doable, we'll make it work. So my guess is I'm gonna predict that we do see the balloon payment deal here. He gets paid somewhere in the range of 13 to 15 million and then gives up the NTC, and that's where we go.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably ultimately where this lands. It makes sense. If you're Quentin Grimes, you might as well get a little bit more money right now, especially if you're probably going to be heading towards free agency next summer in either event. So might as well get that, especially because there's teams with cap space. So is losing your bird rights the end of the world right now? Maybe not, given the
and I also too, if you're Quentin Grimes, I like if you get 14 or 15 million this year in a balloon payment, much like with Kuminga, that's probably pretty close to being okay using your non-bird rights, right? That let's just say it was 15 million. That gets you 18 million in year one next season. So that's probably enough on non-bird to feel pretty good about it. So I don't know. It's not the 20 plus he was hoping for, but I don't know that was ever coming anyway.
Right. Yeah, agreed. So, all right, let's get over to, we'll talk Lakers training camp right after this. Great presenting sponsor for the front office show is Sleeper. If you've ever heard of the Sleeper app, here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats, plus a news feed. This is so critical for me. Get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams, a real-time chat you can engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA season. So download the #1 sports app today and experience it for yourself. If you can see, I've made a couple of season-long picks there. Some deep cuts. We've got Tyler Warren for the Indianapolis Colts. NFL season is here. I've got him more than 550.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to be a big part of that offense. And then Zach Charbonnet, essentially, I'm saying I don't think that Ken Walker is going to wind up staying healthy all season. I've got him more than 499.5 rushing yards. I think the opportunities will be there for Charbonnet. So click that link in the description down below. Use the promo code CAPSPACE, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, let's talk Lakers training camp. LeBron James, Studio Stu, checking in here. LeBron to take longer to ramp up for the season. We talked quite a bit about this over on Lakers Nation, but JJ Redick saying that they are going to take the long view with LeBron James. Seems very unlikely that he will be playing anytime soon in preseason. I think it's even in question whether he plays at all in preseason for the Lakers, dealing with a nerve issue in the glute, which means a pain in the butt, basically, right now for LeBron James. But
has he been sitting on his butt too much this summer? No Olympics this year.
Maybe that's it. But the sentiment was that maybe they pushed too hard last year during preseason and then during the regular season, and they want to take the long view and get him 100% for the regular season. So they're more focusing on opening night than worrying about him playing in preseason or anything like that. Keith, there is the dynamic where the Lakers need to really smooth the edges out with LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves being on the floor together. Is it worth it to not play LeBron much, if at all, in preseason, and then try to do all of that chemistry building and all of that during the season if it means you're getting a healthier LeBron James?
Yeah, I think so. I'm with this long view here. Like it, yeah, if it's a little bumpy your first couple games of the regular season, so be it. I also think it's easier because those guys are so smart. Like it's not. This is not going to be as hard. I think with most teams, you would love a guy to have one game of preseason just to kind of get out there and play, right? That it's not in a controlled scrimmage environment. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure by the time it comes, they'll be doing plenty of 5-on-5 work with the team and those kind of things, and they'll have him ready to play. And it's LeBron, so I'm not exactly worried about him. Like, I don't know what I'm doing out here. Like, this is, I mean, clearly he'll be fine from that respect.
I made the point. Yeah, if anybody can sit off to the side and just watch and still be fully up to speed on all the schemes and all that, it's LeBron James, at this point of his career. So so I'm on board with this. Hopefully we do get a healthier season. That said, he's played 70 or more games in each of his last 2 seasons. I don't know if we should go in expecting that from him going into year 41. It's like we can say with certainty, like Chris Paul playing all 82 like he did last year, that's probably not happening again. Even LeBron at north of 70, I think I'd be taking the under on that, just based on this mantra from the team of we want to take the long view here.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, clearly things could change, and we've talked about it. The West is very deep.
Yes.
But if we got to a point where they're fine, right? Like they're right around where we think they're going to be, somewhere in the 3-6 range, top assured playoff team, then I think you're in a spot where, yeah, if you toss away a game or two to preserve him, that's fine. I'm not even Luka, same boat, right? Like I think you're going to see some of this. Let's manage this. I also wonder with LeBron, it'd be interesting to find out. Like, we know the accolades have been important to him, not because he's trying to, pile up stats.
Everybody
like
goes to because he wants to be the GOAT and he wants to be better than
I think
Jordan.
it's just important to him because of the history of the game, right? And his standing in the game. And I do think he takes pride in, hey, I'm doing stuff no one's ever done before at my age, 22 years in. Last year, all NBA guy. Now I'm 23 years into my career. Like, if he could be all NBA. So I do think he'd like to hit 65 games and be eligible. But I also think he is, hey, if it is the difference between I'm going to feel good when the playoffs start and make an all NBA, I think he'd rather win another title than that. So I think he would say, yeah, if it means I miss out on all NBA and miss out, and it is what it is. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage him, but I do think there'll definitely be some level of management with LeBron, and that gets tough because from a fan perspective, much like we talked about this with Kobe at the end of his career, and I told the story about how a ton of people got tickets in his last year in the league that he didn't play in Orlando, and a lot of people were bummed out about it. We're kind of getting there with LeBron as well, where it's like you're getting down to your, even he's saying it, so I don't feel bad saying it. Like, maybe he keeps going another year or two, but we're down into somewhere in the last few years of seeing LeBron play, and then they're clearly going to prioritize. Yeah, it's a lot of times Orlando, Miami's a back-to-back. In Florida, we're going to play one leg or the other. All right, somebody's going to miss out, and that's going to be how it goes.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna have to do, particularly on the the back-to-backs this year and things like that. I don't know if you're not as laser focused on Lakers as I am. They have a back-to-back in preseason.
Oh,
why are we doing that? And teams make their own schedules in preseason. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing
back-to-back
in preseason?
Yeah. I mean, honestly though, that's one where it's fine. I hope everybody is fired up to see.
We're playing our G League guys in one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the South Bay team. In the actual Laker uniforms, because they'll get a decent amount of run there.
Like, they're playing at Phoenix on Tuesday the 14th, and then against Dallas in Las Vegas on Wednesday the 15th. And I'm looking at the ticket pricing right now on ESPN. I think they already know, because it's tickets as low as $14 at Phoenix, tickets as low as $46 against Dallas. Now it's in Vegas, but still it's on ESPN as well. I have a feeling nobody's playing that game on the 14th in Phoenix.
Yeah, and clearly we know there's no Kawhi. So if you want to see Augustus Marciulionis against Ryan Nembhard, let's go. Let's get that one lined up there in Las Vegas.
Well, that one's against Dallas, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said no Kawhi.
Oh, I meant no Kyrie. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no Kyrie.
No Kyrie. Yes, but no Kawhi.
Trevor, I'm tired. Tired, and we're not even started yet.
We haven't even started yet. We're not even there yet. But but yeah. Kawhi's not there. Kawhi decided to make like a tree and leave.
But
no. All
right. Left. He's like, I'm out.
Speaking of trees, let's go up to Portland. It's so beautiful there. Jeremy Grant expects
Minnesota bringing back the tree.
I love that.
I love it.
Such a nice jersey. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Okay. Jeremy Grant expects to start. Should he? I can tell by your face right now that you're with me. You're like, but should he? I mean, when Toumani Camara and Deni Avdija exist and are on this roster, I don't see an argument for Jeremy Grant starting for this Portland team.
Yeah, and he wasn't good last year. Like, he really struggled. He also talked about how he didn't like last year's offense. He felt like there was a lot of just running around and doing stuff, which is kind of weird because Portland was, we've talked about it a lot. They're actually pretty good in the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with Grant, I don't know. So here's what we know. Donovan Klingen's going to start. Kamara's going to start. Avdia is going to start.
Yep.
Drew Holiday is going to start, at least while Scoot Henderson is out. So that's 4 or 5. Really, for me, it comes down to Shaedon Sharpe versus Jeremy Grant. Right. I would start Shaedon Sharpe because that's like he's I would assume a big part of your future in Portland. But as many Trailblazer fans reminded me, Chauncey Billups was like, I don't trust him. Like, he played him, but I don't trust him enough to start him and play him big minutes and all those kind of things. So last year, Sharpe did come off the bench a lot. But I don't know. I'd be transitioning to Jeremy Grant off the bench. I'll even go a step further. When Scoot Henderson is healthy, I would probably run Klingen, Kamara, Avdia, Sharpe, and Henderson as my starting group and bring Drew Holiday off the bench too. Those guys just aren't part of whatever the next great Trailblazers team is. Grant and Holiday aren't going to be a part of it. Those other guys, maybe they aren't either, but they might be. And we don't know yet. And I'd rather play it that way. But it's just a little weird.
And while we're on the Blazers, Rob Williams already, a bit banged up. Man, he was, when I was looking at center options for the Lakers on the trade market all the way back in, May. The more I dig into Rob Williams, like highlights and all that, I'm like, God, this guy is so good. He is so good. He's just never on the floor. And here we go again with this starting already.
Yeah, and it's when you're already starting the year like this, that's just not great, right? That like he's not going to be ready to go. We knew Damian Lillard is confirmed he does not expect to play this season. We kind of talked about it when we talked about Jason Tatum, that now they're going to start asking the other Achilles guys, like, are you going to play this year? And they're not all the same recovery, surgery, timelines, all that stuff. But with Lillard, he openly said, like, yeah, I don't expect to play this year. And then they said something like he's not a coach, but they want him to function kind of like a mentor, like a coach with that. So, so he's out. Scoot Henderson's out. Rob Williams is out. It's, in some ways that makes your lineup decisions a little easier to start the year. But, it was funny. I had one person, which is probably good that it was only one, say, like, why are we locking Toumani Camara into the starting lineup? And I was like, are you serious?
Because he's really good.
Yeah, he was awesome last year. Like, him, Klingen, and Avdia, I'm 100% certain are going to start. It's really then where do we go from there? Like I said, Holiday will start at the point to open the season. But, Kamara was great. Look at he's not even on the screen, too.
That's a little – he's it.
Yeah.
And it's non-guaranteed.
Not even guaranteed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
How crazy that the most valuable player from the DeAndre Ayton trade wound up being the throw-in to Monty Kamara.
Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, the guy was just kind of, hey, go here.
I will say this on the Robert Williams piece. The one silver lining here is this should mean we get a better chance at seeing Hanson Yang out there on the floor.
Yeah,
I don't know how much, but we have a better chance of seeing him out there.
And they did talk about too. They want the part of what they want to use the preseason for is he ready for NBA minutes? So I do think, and I don't pretend to know what Portland's preseason schedule is, but I do think you're going to see him get thrown in against some of the more frontline guys. Like that might even be one where it's like he starts a game instead of Klingen just so he goes up against the opposing team's starters, just to see what does it look like. Because they said if he's not ready, they're happy to use the Rip City Remix, which is their G League team, and give him a ton of reps down there. But a lot of praise coming out. Sean Hyken does a great job covering the Trailblazers, like kind of independently through his Rose Garden report. Really recommended if you want to know more about this team. And he had a whole bunch of quotes from players like talking about like this kid, like I forget who it was now, but one of the guys was like, doesn't even really speak good English, but he knows all the basketball terms, like in English, and can like already break stuff down and sees things that you wouldn't expect a 20-year-old rookie to see. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see what happens with him this year.
Definitely. All right, let's go from Portland all the way across the country. The
furthest strip in the NBA.
That's right. Tyler Herro expected to rack up those frequent flyer miles. Tyler Herro is expected to extend with the Heat, and he had some comments about this, about, it's not about getting to $50 million or something like that on his salary, that he just wants to feel respected, but that he expects to get something done by the deadline to make this happen. So where do you see this going? Because I think this is actually a bigger deal than people understand it to be, because this is going to set a precedent for this Tyler Herro level tier player for what they're going to be looking at on these next contracts, both this season and ahead of the extension deadline, as well as potentially next summer.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the deadline. So for Herro, because he has 2 years left, he can only extend through the 20th of October, the day before the regular season starts. So that's it for him, because if you have more than 1 year left and that second year isn't an option that the player or team can decline, you are limited to getting it done in the off season. So I'm not sold it gets done in the off season, especially if it starts coming out that they're apart on a number, because I think Miami is clearly, look at the rest of their cap sheet. It's Bam Adebayo in rookie scale guys in 2 years. In 2027, the Heat are lining up to do some stuff coming forward here. So I think we're in a place where I think they want to be cautious. Now, that said, if Herro's like, give me what I'm at now, $33 million bonus, he's got bonuses in there, and I remember we talked about it and made fun of some of the bonuses because they were like Jordan Poole's bonuses, where it's like defensive player of the year and stuff that's never going to happen. Right. Teams are not doing those anymore because those count towards the aprons and cause all kinds of problems for you now. So now teams are like, we're not doing them anymore at all. So now, let's say he says 33 million or bump me up to 35, I think something gets done. If it starts pushing, I need over 40 or I need to push near 50. And like you said, he's not saying that. So I think for him, it's more, I don't need to break the bank. I just need to be taken care of at a number I'm comfortable with. And ideally here in Miami long term. And they love him in Miami. He's been a big development success for them. But he's another one of those players. People focus far too much on what he isn't, which is a good defender, and not enough on this guy's one of the best offensive guards in the league. Like he's a great offensive player.
Last year.
Yeah, and like that still has value. I know it seems like it's all of a sudden, if you're not a two-way player, you have no value at all. Just not true. Teams still win and work around those guys when they need to. So I think Herro's a valuable guy, but it's got to be at the right number.
Yeah, and so we'll see what that number is. Again, Herro sounded confident that it would get done, but we'll see what that number gets done at. And like I said, that could matter for some of these other guys.
Yeah.
Like Zach LaVine in Sacramento, right? I mean, kind of similar type of situation. What does that mean for him? So we'll be keeping a close eye on this one, and what ultimately happens with Tyler Herro.
Yep. Yeah, Austin Reeves, another offensive first guard, similar-ish role to Herro, right? Can play either guard position, more of an off-ball guy, but a good secondary playmaker type there. Norman Powell, his own teammate, who's extension eligible, and talked about how he would like a new contract. Again, another score first guard. Cam Thomas's next contract. These are all ones that are. You're right. That this kind of sets the tone of that grouping outside of Zach LaVine. I would say Herro's clearly the most established because he's done it. He's been a starter on an NBA Finals team.
As the guy too.
Yeah, he's been an all-star. So like there's a little bit more established there, but other players will absolutely, in their agents, will be looking at, or what does he get? And they're clearly from the player and agent side, they're going to be like, let's get that closer to that 40 or 50 number.
Yep.
Because then that gives me confidence. That's what I'm asking for coming out of it. Again, though, both the Heat and Herro, if it doesn't get done in the next 3 weeks before the deadline, you've got a little bit of time because you can get it done next summer when he's only got 1 year left.
Oh, if Tyler Herro gets 40, Cam Thomas is going to go, see,
yeah,
that's what I want. I want one of those. That one right there.
See, Zach Lowe, you were wrong.
That's it.
Give me my money. Show me the money. I won't be
man, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays. Keith, this is a bigger topic for another show, but I'm really curious to see how these guys who we are kind of borderline can be the second best player on a championship team. And the Tyler Herros of the world, the Zach LaVines of the world certainly fit in that category where most teams probably feel more comfortable with them as the third guy than the second guy. Austin Reeves may be in that category. There's a number of guys that are going to fit in that slotting. How those contracts specifically, because these are the kind of guys like with Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans where they went, we don't want to be the team to pay him on his next contract. Those are the guys that seem to be getting squeezed in the new cap environment. The Giannis's of the world are always going to be, take my money. Here's the max. And the guys you can get on a vet min or the guys you can get on a MLE or whatever are those players. But it's these kind of guys that are caught in between that we're seeing get squeezed a bit more and a bit more conversation about what they're actually worth. And so it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out over the next few years as the league is still settling from the new collective bargaining agreement. Teams are still adjusting and adapting and kind of settling in here. So how those contracts wind up looking over these next few years, I think is going to be really interesting to keep an eye on.
It's a great call because it's really important to not have, let's use your example, a guy who, we're okay if he's our number 2, but we love him as our number 3.
Yeah.
But you can't pay him as your number 2 now, right? Because then you still need to pay your number 2.
Right.
And that's where that's when it all starts to fall apart. If your teams can still run 3 max guys, but those 3 max guys have to be 3 max guys. You can't just pay a guy because, that's what you do. Brandon Ingram.
It used to be all-star adjacent. Here's a max.
Yeah. Yep, Brandon Ingram before the new CBA probably would have just gotten a max or very, very close to it.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was super far off a max. He still got paid quite well, but you would just max him because it's just what you do. You max him, you keep him happy, and you figure it out. And then, all right, he's our third guy. Let's go we have number 1. We'll slide him to number 3. We'll go find number 2 somehow. That's where it gets tough. Now you can't be in a position where it's, we're paying 3 guys the max, but really we know only 2 of them are really worth it. That's where then it just makes it too hard to build out the rest of your roster. And it really is, tough. And these are the decisions that teams are going to have to make. Or if you do it, it's going to be like Boston, where it is, do it for a year or 2. But if you're not right there to win the title again or compete for it, you probably need to reset. And that's what we're going to see. These windows, they're all, since we've been doing this show together, I say the windows are always shorter than they seem like.
Yeah.
They're even shorter now than ever because teams are just going to say, all right, we're not going to sit over the second apron and start incurring the draft pick penalties and all the other stuff and the repeater tax, which is even more punitive now than ever. We're just not going to do it. We're going to hit a reset. Maybe not a full hard reset where we rebuild from the ground up, but like Boston, we'll reset. We're going to move some guys. We still have our core guys, and then we'll build back up in a year or 2 when we're ready to go. Clearly, they were helped along by the Tatum injury that makes you feel a little bit better about doing it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to be far more conscious now of you can't just start throwing around that second and third max. If you're doing it, it better be a guy who's deserving of it.
Exactly. And so that's where teams are having to be a lot more careful with their spending now under this new salary cap environment. But obviously a lot of stuff that we got into today, and a lot, I think, still to come as we're getting, basketball back on the floor. There's a game tomorrow. There is an actual NBA game tomorrow. It's a preseason game, but let's go. We're super excited for that. And we're back, baby. Let's go. I'm excited for the return of the NBA season. So again, everybody, make sure you do subscribe to the NBA Front Office Show on YouTube. Follow us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, everybody. Till next time. See ya and stay safe.